and it's actually what makes me hesitant to buy into some of the projects that I'm seeing nowadays. Is pre-construction real estate still a good investment option? In this video, I'm going to go over some of the pros and some of the cons of buying new construction real estate. And we're even going to talk about if it still makes sense to purchase as an investment today. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to talk about one of the risks that most people don't even think about when they buy new construction real estate. With low housing inventory on both the resale and the pre-construction market, it makes sense that this is such a hotly debated topic. My team sells a lot of resale as well as pre-construction real estate, so I have some insights into both sides that I would like to share with you today and hopefully help you make a good decision as to which one is the best for you. So let's jump into it with some of the benefits of buying pre-construction real estate. Now, the first one is obvious. Obviously, you get to pick your floor plan, you get to pick the features, the finishes, you get to spec out the unit or the house, whichever you're buying, exactly how you want to buy it or exactly how you want to live in it if you do choose to live in it. Also, the second one, pretty obvious as well, it's brand new. Now, there's something always nice about buying something or living in something that nobody's ever owned before. You're the first person in there and you're the first person to call that house a home or to rent it out, whatever the case is. If you're investing in it, there's always something to be said for buying something brand new. And the third one is timing. You get to purchase the property today, lock in the price right now, but you don't have to close on it until tomorrow. So this is what's attracted so many investors in the past. You put your deposit down, you essentially sit and wait a few years until the property is completed. And in most cases, by the time the unit is complete or by the time the house is complete, it's already worth more than you paid. So this sounds too good to be true, right? Like there must be some catch or there must be some risk. So let's jump into it now with the cons of buying pre-construction real estate. The first one is probably the most obvious, is what if the house or the project gets canceled? And in this case, you have some risk of losing some or all of your deposit. Now, Tarion does offer some coverage here, up to $60,000 or 10% of the purchase price for a freehold house. However, if you are investing in a condo unit, your deposit is only protected for up to the first $20,000 from Tarion, regardless of the purchase price. So if you're buying a condo right now, a lot of the developers have 15 or 20% deposit structures, which can easily work out to 120, 150, even close to $200,000. The only portion of that where you are protected from Tarion is the first $20,000 of it. The rest of it you could potentially lose if the project goes under or if the builder goes under or if the project fails. Some of the other cons or considerations are the very annoying delays, which are annoying if you're actually trying to move into the house yourself or if you're trying to move from one house to another, and to get everything to line up, you want to know what date you're moving in and things get delayed. So that can be a bit of a hassle. But if you're an investor and you're buying this property as an investment, you likely don't care how long it's delayed. The longer it delays, the longer until you have to close on it, it probably doesn't matter to you. The other con I would say is the price. The timing of purchasing an asset in the future, as well as the fact that it's brand new, all play a factor in pricing. Now, before we talk about some of the risks, if you guys are enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos that I've got coming out. So the question is, does it still make sense to purchase pre-construction real estate? So the issue that I have with buying pre-construction real estate in today's market right now in 2022 is that the builders are generally not selling the product at today's price. You're paying tomorrow's price. So just to give you a couple of rough numbers on this, I'm seeing anywhere from 10 to 20% of a markup or a premium on top of what a comparable unit or home would sell for in the current marketplace. So what it all comes down to is you are essentially making a bet. Will the prices increase or will the market increase over the next couple of years more than the developers are predicting, which would put you in the green when you close? Or, hey, are you going to be in the red if it doesn't increase as much, right? So this is essentially the bet that you make when you're buying pre-construction real estate at a future price. Of course, this doesn't account for extra closing costs. It doesn't account for development levies, interim occupancy fees, utility hookups, and so on and so forth. But these are all topics for another video. We're solely talking about the purchase price of the home or of the unit. So what are the risks of buying pre-construction real estate in Ontario? We've already talked about some of them, such as cancellation of the project or delays and deposit-related risks. But there's one important risk I think that a lot of people don't think about, and it's actually what makes me hesitant to buy into some of the projects that I'm seeing nowadays. When you buy something at a future price, if the market doesn't act as you expected, or worse yet, there's some sort of a correction in the market, the bank may not appraise the property for what you paid for it, leaving you with the responsibility to come up with a difference. Now, let's take a look at an example of this. Let's just say you buy a brand new, beautiful, detached home for $2 million right now. Let's just say market value is somewhere in between 1.7 and 1.8 at this current moment. Now, imagine for a second that the market doesn't keep increasing, or that we actually see a little bit of stagnation, or maybe even at some point a little bit of a correction in the market. And here, closing day comes right around the corner, and this house that you have agreed to on paper to pay $2 million for is only being appraised at 1.85. Well, if the bank's only going to give you a mortgage on 1.85, then it's up to you to come up, it's going to be up to you to come up with that $150K difference to bridge the gap. Now, these things are possible and they have happened in the past. If you guys can think back to 2017 and 2018 when the foreign buyer tax was put into place, which really cooled the market off, I actually did see some scenarios where people were committed into contracts to purchase a house for more than the house was worth when they closed on it. So in my opinion, this is one of the biggest risks of buying pre-construction real estate right now in this current market, and is a major reason that I am hesitant to purchase in a lot of projects myself. So in conclusion, is pre-construction real estate still a good investment? Should you still put your money into pre-construction real estate? And my answer to this, despite of what I just said, I still think it can be a good investment. I still think it can be rewarding, and I still think it is something that you should consider. But I also think it's heavily dependent on your situation. Pre-construction real estate buys you time, and it does have a few distinct advantages over buying a resale unit. However, 9 times out of 10, my opinion is that if you're able to close on a property in the near future, you'll probably get a better deal and you'll face less risk. When you buy a resale property with a short period of time in between when you actually make the contract and close on the property, you really mitigate a lot of the risk that comes with buying something so far into the future. If you have decided that pre-construction real estate is the right choice for you, and for many of you, I think that it still is, my recommendation is before you go in and buy a unit or buy a home at any project, talk to your realtor and do some analysis to see what's actually selling nearby. This will give you some insight on if the developer's prices are fair, but it'll also give you an added level of confidence on your decision to buy, or maybe your decision to walk away from the project if you don't feel like it's the right price or the right value for you. Now, what do you think is the better investment? I want to know in the comments down below whether you think that resale or pre-construction real estate is the better buy right now this year in 2022. Don't forget, if you want to book a buyer or a seller consultation to chat with me more about real estate, I'd be happy to connect with you. Just hit that link below to book a time and I would love to connect. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the new content that I have coming out on this channel. It will really help me grow. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one.